Hello and welcome back to my channel. I have a fun and easy project to share with you. This is just a little Christmas project that's kind of fun. If you love vintage Christmas, you could do this with any kind of book, any kind of paper, any kind of anything. This is just an idea. If you find some vintage kids books or just vintage Christmas books, I picked these up at the thrift store and this one's all ripped. You will find these all the time. They're ripped. They were kids books back in the day. So these are good books to do this with. And all you're going to do, so you need some books, some paper, whatever you're going to use. You're going to need some hot glue. You're going to need some velvet ribbon, scissors, and a pennant shape. So I am just going to, the hot glue is already sticking. I wish I could get 2 out of this, but I do not think I can. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this pennant shape. I'm just going to, let's do the star. We'll just come up here and do the star. And this one is not a great example of one that's got really good. It's basically just the pictures inside. They look vintage too. So you could do any of these that you like. See, like this one's not really Christmas to me. So I'm just gonna maybe pull this out so then I can cut it easier. And then you're just gonna cut out your pennant shape, and we're just going to kind of make a vintage garland. So if you have seen any of my other content where I do love vintage Christmas, I have a vintage Santa mug collection and just some other vintage things that I find here and there that I love to pick up. And so this would look really good hung, you know, on a display like that. So here I've got 2 going on. This could be a good one. Let's just see if I got anything better in here. Ooh, the teddy bear could be cool. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get enough of him. Let's just see what else I have. Okay, so here's kind of another tree and a window with a house. So let's just go ahead and, this would be cool too to do with words if you had, you know, just like the story, a story, and you had the, I'm just going to do one more here. I'm not going to bore you. Obviously, you can make this any size you want. You could make these pennants smaller for a smaller display, and you could get a lot more from one page. I'm just doing kind of a bigger, but if you did, like if you have a hot cocoa bar or something, if you did smaller triangles, you could get a ton out of one picture. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some more so then I can show you how we're going to finish this. One other thing that would be, this would be a great idea if you were having a Christmas party. You know, if you had like a, again, it does not have to be vintage books. It can be whatever. This would be perfect for that. And I wanted to mention that the covers would be really, really cool to cut out of. You'll just need like a razor to cut out, but these are like obviously a lot heavier duty. And if you've got some good pictures on them, it'd be really fun to do a cardboard garland, pennant garland out of the covers of the books. Okay, I made a mess. And let's see how many. I just went through the 2 books. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So all you're gonna do now is you're going to lay out your ribbon. And you're just going to hot glue these. Leave yourself a little bit of room down here just so that you can hang the garland. You make sure your side, you have it on there, the side that you need. So I'm just gonna start it right here. So here, depending on the size of your ribbon, all of this up here will not be shown. So as you're cutting it out, you obviously want them the same size. So if you're like, oh, I don't want this up here, remember that your ribbon is gonna cover what's up there. So that's about enough. That should be enough for me to hang it. And so I'm just going to use some hot glue. You could use craft glue as well. And then I am just going to work my way down. So I am just going to kind of space them out. I'm just going to kind of put the corners together. And it's just paper, so it's not like you need a ton of hot glue by any means. And you don't have to use velvet ribbon. I said velvet ribbon. I really love velvet ribbon, and it kind of goes with this vintage ribbon, kind of goes with my theme, but use whatever you have. Whatever ribbon you have on hand. It's kind of, this is a fun way too, if you even have books that your kids, maybe they've ripped them or torn them, or, but you don't want to throw them out. It's kind of a way to, this would be to kind of, okay, I do not want to see that pen mark. This would also be, you could do this for a children's room too, or like a book nook. This would be fun in like a library, daycare, your kids' room, a teacher. And you can, like at garage sales and things, you can find these books for next to nothing, like really, really inexpensive. Sometimes at the thrift stores, they get expensive depending on what it is, but great way to upcycle books that have been, if your family's anything like ours, I loved children's books. I miss buying them, and Gabrielle's thinking that she's gonna go into elementary education, and so I kind of have an excuse to look for them again. They are literally one of my favorite things. So, okay. Oh, I have one more. Kind of running out of hot glue, and I don't have an extra stick here next to me. That's not gonna work. Let me grab one. Well, it is going to keep that on. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to cut off more than you think, just to make sure. And then what we're going to do is we're going to glue the ribbon on top of this as well. So it's kind of closed off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I did have that last one. I thought this was it for some reason. So just thought I'd come back on and share. I did put that last one on. Now I'm going to glue the ribbon on top to finish it off. Work in little batches at a time, because you really want to pull your ribbon and get it where it needs to go. So just work one pennant at a time. And you could, if you didn't want to do double the ribbon, if you wanted to just glue it on the inside of this ribbon, you definitely could do that too. Oh, I'm going to be covering up some Santa. So just be mindful of how thick your ribbon is. Because then I thought for sure I would have it. I got to salvage some of him there. But see, if you're not careful, where you put it down. That car sounded like it was right outside the window, and there was no car there. I have no idea. So you can obviously trim this up and then just finish it out here. You kind of want to work from that way out. That one, I'm going to trim, but easy peasy, easy fix. So here is, I have some of my vintage mugs hanging on this peg rack. And so I just put the banner here so you could see it. So you could, like I said, you could do so many different things with this idea alone for so many different occasions, even just in a child's bedroom. like up along the wall, up along like the ceiling would be really cute, or just in a book nook. But I just thought this was a fun idea for those vintage books, just because I do love vintage Christmas so much. This is just some of it that I love, but such a fun project. If you try it, tag me on Instagram, post it on Instagram and tag me at My Creative Days. If you know somebody that would like this project, please share the video. I always appreciate it when you share the videos, and make sure that you have clicked the bell and you have hit the subscribe button. I am uploading new videos every single week.